But all right, guys, what is going on, GDQ staff? My name is Davesterio, and today we're going to be doing the Midgar Escape category. This is the submission that I'm doing for GDQX, and I'm deciding to do Midgar Escape because I actually want to feature any % no slots at the next mainline GDQ, AGDQ. So, I would like to show Midgar Escape at GDQX because it's actually the section that is the FF7 Remake. You know, the first episode of the FF7 Remake is just started the game to Midgar. So I think this would actually make a really cool category to show at this point in time. One thing that we actually do differently in this category as opposed to just a normal Midgar Escape in the any % no slots route is we actually skip the Materia menu due to a new sequence break that was found after SGDQ 2017. And we have the ability to perform this sequence break at 2 separate times, but if we do it in the earlier section, we skip out on a lot of money that we get for grenades, which is our main damage source, as well as skipping the Materia menu, which allows us to equip magic to the characters. And yeah, we're actually going to be skipping that. And one other thing that I should talk about early on is just the way the encounter manipulation works in this game. That is right, the encounters are not random. They are not random, and it's actually tied to the way we take our steps. And we have walking and running steps, and they are different values within the, within the way the encounter system works. So picture this. You have a graph with a line going up. This is your danger value. And hanging up top are stalactites of varying length. These stalactites are the encounters. Picture like if you intersect your danger value with a stalactite, you're gonna get an encounter. And what happens is, when you walk steps, your danger value goes at less of an incline. And as a result, if you would normally hit an encounter, you get the encounter, walking the steps puts you underneath the encounter until you inevitably hit the next one. So that's pretty much an easy way that I could generalize the way the encounter system looks, and it relies on having perfect movement throughout the entire game. And here we're just changing our cursor to memory, which will make it so when we perform an action, our cursor will stay on that move next time we get that character's turn. And then, of course, we crank up all the battle speeds and the message speeds because we gotta go fast. This there actually isn't good, necessarily, because we actually want to build a limit break on Cloud for the first boss. Oh, 2 potions. All right, that is actually really good. Money is pretty tight. Money is very tight in this route, actually. And since the text box is populated at 6 characters per frame, we reduce our character names down to just 1 letter. Probably doesn't save the most time in Midgar Escapes, and besides, we'll have the renames up for incentives. He's seated. We have 2 C's. Okay, whatever. But yeah, probably doesn't save the most time in Midgar Escape categories, but I just like to do it because I do it in no slots runs. All right, so the first quote-unquote random encounter of the game here, we're actually going to try to skip, and I'm going to attempt to open and close the menu on the exact frame in which I get the encounter. It's going to be on this next screen. All right, we got it. And since we open and close the menu on the exact frame in which we got the encounter, it just actually skips the encounter. Unfortunately, we can't do this to every encounter in the game. And this is because it'll either break our step manipulation, or we have the possibility of getting what's called the duplicating boss glitch, where if we skip an encounter before we get what's called an event fight, which is pretty much anything that is not like a quote-unquote random encounter, once we beat that event battle, it'll actually duplicate itself and then soft lock the game once we beat the fight. So it's great. Also, I'm going to try to optimize my mashing here if you notice, the elevator is pulsing up and down in cycles. Here, give me 1 sec. All right, so elevator's pulsing up and down in cycles. Let's see if Barrett reaches Cloud, if the elevator is at the bottom of the screen. All right, that was fast elevator. The elevator instantly returned down. If it wasn't at the bottom of the screen when Barrett returned to Cloud, there's a chance that we had to wait another cycle of the elevator going up and down. Our first encounter here is going to be against these 2 turret guys. These guys really suck because their turn animations take forever. So we're going to be relying on what's called good starting ATB, which if you look at our time bars in the bottom right corner of the screen, those start each fight with a, random amount of it being filled. And if we have characters closer to getting their turn off the start of the fight, we actually have the chance to quick escape from the encounter. So we're going to be relying on quick escapes for the entire of the run, to just try to save some time. So with Cloud here, I'm going to attempt to do a change command right out the gate. Oh, I got the quick escape regardless. So you notice I tried to do change there, which would have the character... Actually, I'll explain change in just a second because I actually need to walk my first instance of step walking here. So let me just count these steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And a little bit of a half a step there. Yeah, the steps actually work in 1/8 increments. So you have fractions of steps in addition to whole steps. But yeah, I was going to use the change command because that would have Cloud jump rows. And actually, all I'm trying to do is use the animation of Cloud changing rows to try to buffer an escape in the meantime, so I can cut out a enemy turn that would be, more or lengthier. All right, so first boss fight of the game. Hopefully we can get some good starting ATB time, so I can go for a first turn by pre-buffering my inputs. Yeah, I'm just gonna hold circle here with Barrett. And unfortunately, we did not get the first turn, did not have the best starting ATB, but that's okay. So since Guard Scorpion targeted Cloud here, I'm gonna actually change my turn order here. I'm gonna have Cloud lead the turn order. This is because if Cloud can get a limit break, I actually have the ability to get 3 turns in for a Guard Scorpion turn. We're really hoping... Oh! Okay, so hopefully we can get a Scorpion Tail here, and it's a high damage roll, so we can get a limit break with Barrett. It's a rifle. All right. Probably not getting a limit break. That's okay. Hey, yo, what's going on, Tony? Oh, yeah, I said I wasn't going to talk to chat very much while I'm doing this submission recording, but I'll chime in every once in a while. And so normally this tail, it says for you to attack because it's going to counterattack with its laser. But attacking the Scorpion actually causes it to counterattack. And I want to do this on purpose because I want to have limit breaks on my characters. And I'm holding the attack command here with Barrett because you notice it actually just changed to the limit command. But since I already had attack pre-held, I still have the attack move stored. So I will do the attack here with Barrett. And then once his time refills again, I'm going to insta-queue the limit break. Which, since limit breaks take turn priority, I get 3 turns in before the boss gets a turn in. And what's very important is that I have a limit break on Cloud leaving this fight because that's necessary for the next boss fight. Oh, and there's no cap on this water bottle. Alright, decent Guard Scorpion for not having a limit, honestly. Alright, so now we gotta get out of here, but one crucial thing I'm gonna do before leaving the reactor is I'm gonna do very, very specific movement to the point where I'm gonna end up on a certain part of the step manipulation that allows the next boss fight to be a preemptive encounter. And that'll allow me to get 3 first-turn grenades, and then that limit break with Cloud is actually gonna do double damage against the next boss fight. Oh. Did my timer really stop? The timer stopped? Okay. Honestly, that's fine. This is a really good run, so I'm just gonna continue it. Okay, so this movement here is solely to set up the next boss fight. You notice I'm walking steps here. I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna bonk. Open and close the menu to get perfect releases of my buttons. And then we're gonna bonk over here. And again, I need absolutely perfect movement. If I mess this up, the manipulation's done. All right, not a bad reactor. You know what we're gonna do? This is normally 11 minutes into the run. Yeah, this is like normally 11 minutes into the run. Oh, that's 11 seconds. Uh-oh. I'm literally just gonna start the timer 11 minutes in. Oh yeah, maybe I just never started the timer, honestly. But yeah, you always get to this point at around 11-ish minutes in. And you notice that I do a 2-hand mashing technique. Actually, you kind of can't see it because of my controller input. Here, I'll remove my inputs for just a second. I do this 2-hand mashing technique on the controller. And, you know, you need to optimize your frames, dude. It's so easy to lose time on dialogue in this game. So you have to have a good, consistent mash that you can maintain throughout the entirety of the run, or you're not going to hurt yourself, you know? I'm going to pick up this potion for selling later. And somebody in chat is asking if I've recovered from my long marathon. Yeah, I did like a 46, 47-hour stream a few days ago. And yeah, my brain is still yet to fully put itself back together. So coming up here, we're actually going to have, well, I guess we've already done an encounter skip, so that could be a glitch. But we're doing one of our first skips in the run, where what we're going to do is, you know, Jessie wants to have the scene with us where she talks to us about the railway map and everything. We're actually not going to see that, hopefully. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to try to initiate 2 conversations at the same exact time. One of which is talking to Jessie. But the second one is, if we walk all the way to the bottom of the train cart, we're going to get pushed back by a Shinra guard, and that's going to give us a text box as well. So if we can overlap these 2 conversations to happen at the same time, I'm actually going to retain movement of Cloud while I have the text open, so I can mash through the text in a specific way and close the final dialogue box that would initiate the Jessie cutscene as I'm zoning back into this room that I'm in, and as a result, it's gonna think that I watched the cutscene, but actually it's just gonna allow me to skip right past the cutscene. So we're gonna be attempting that now, and you only get one shot at it, and if you miss it, you know, it's done. It's only like 15 seconds you lose, but, you know, it's always something you like to see. Nice. Okay, I realized the setup that I was on. All right, there we go. Went through the door, closed the dialogue box as I was going through the door, and voila! We have a Jesse skip. We have skipped the map cutscene, and here we are. So what I was doing there is I was menu buffering to allow myself to get frame-perfect inputs as I close the menu. And it allows you to get that set up a little bit easier if you can, like, read the pixels. You know, there's a setup with Cloud's feet and just judging where his feet, like, how much of his feet have disappeared on the bottom of the screen. So I was able to kind of gauge where I was at. Alrighty, so this is where the new largest sequence break has been found in Final Fantasy VII. And this is where, you know, typically we would have to go to 7th Heaven to rename Tifa, to, you know, get paid from Barrett, to get the Materia menu, and then we would normally take the train to Sector 5. You know, we'd beat Airbuster, we'd fall through the church, we'd meet Eris, yada yada yada, go to the playground, and then we're at Wall Market. Instead, we're gonna skip going to 7th Heaven and then just go straight to Wall Market, you know? Or maybe you don't know. This'll blow your brains. If you have not seen this or do not know anything about Final Fantasy VII speedrunning, pay attention to this part because this is incredible. Alright, so even though we haven't gotten paid, I need to go to a shop here in Sector 7 so I can get grenades for the next boss fights coming up. So you actually can't buy grenades in Wall Market. And what you're gonna see here is I'm gonna zone in or zone out and then zone back in here. And this is just to, oh, actually, that's to despawn the people around Barrett if you had to go to Barrett. But I've realized we're actually not even going to Sector 7 or the 7th Heaven. So I sort of just showed that just because, I guess. All right. Having 380 gil is good because I believe I need 300 in Wall Market to buy some things in Wall Market. All right, here is the major sequence break. I'm going to do very specific movement. Oh, I overshot it on accident. Okay, that's fine. If you overshoot that last portion, you just have to reset the screen. And that was actually the last part of the trick. All right, there we go. That was my pixel. There we go. And just like that, that loading zone is actually... Oh, I don't have to do the menu because we're not doing no slots. But yeah, so that loading zone is actually never used in the game. I believe it was originally intended to have Midgar be a little bit more open early on. But maybe the devs thought that it would be a little bit too confusing, so they wanted to guide you a little better. But yeah, that loading zone is actually still active, and if you have very specific movement, you can clip through those guards, and you reach the Wall Market segment. Aerith is in our party, and if you notice, the game has actually named her Aerith, as opposed to Eris. And that's because we have skipped the rename screen, which means in Aerith's core files, her name is actually Aerith, and the fact that the rename screen says Eris is the reason why most people experienced Eris in their playthroughs as opposed to Aerith. But alright, here we are in the Wall Market segment where, you know, we have to get the dress for Cloud and stuff, but we also have the added side quest of being the one that Dawn chooses. it's actually going to save us a little bit of time to gather all the items and get picked by Don, as opposed to doing all the fights as Cloud in the mansion. Also, it'll save us grenades that we would have to use. And one thing I sort of want to bring up about the step manipulation right now is, so I had mentioned that there are step fractions. A thing about the step fractions is, so with the encounter system, you can only get encounters at the whole number of steps. And obviously, when you're in a hostile field where you can get encounters, the step manipulation is affecting the whole number and the decimal count number. When you are in non-hostile fields, only the decimal number is rotating, and it never rotates to the next whole number. Thus, you can never actually get encounters in non-hostile fields. But as a result, those fractions of a step add up, and you can either recover some steps or lose some steps within every non-hostile field or section of non-hostile fields. And as a result, you know, I did very specific step manipulation in order to try to achieve a preemptive encounter for the next boss we have coming up. But unfortunately, not even just the hostile movement, but all of my movement from now until then will affect my potential to get a preemptive boss for the apps encounter. Yeah, buying the dinner there and then buying this item here in the inn is the reason why I needed the guild count that I needed. Alright, coming up after this section, we got another pretty cool skip in this game where we handle 2 conversations at the same exact time. And this one actually has a risk to soft lock the game. But, you know, we're not going to soft lock the game because we never soft lock the game. So pretty much we're going to have the dress conversation where we decide what kind of dress we need, along with handling the bathroom conversation so we can get, I believe it's the perfume. Just one of the items needed for, you know, for Cloud. Here, I'm going to grab the text box on that door because you actually retain movement when having the text box from opening that door. So I start the conversation with the dress guy while having that text box. And I'm paging through this in a very specific order, so I don't soft lock the game. Wait for both of those to pop on screen. Second option, wait for both those on screen. Yeah, if you exit that final dialogue with the cologne, you do actually soft lock the game, unfortunately. So I have to run out of the zone without closing that dialogue box. And so one final addition we need is just a wig. So we're gonna go to the gym, I guess, and do some squats. All right, be sure to avoid the tutorials here. If you do that tutorial, you lose a little bit over 30 seconds. And it really sucks. All right, so we're hoping this dude scratches his head. Oh, God. Okay. All right, can you do that like 5 more times? Okay. All right, that should be good. All right, we didn't tie. Thank God we did not tie, because if you tie, you lose. All right, so now that we have completed our outfit, let's get changed. So one thing here with the movement, actually, that I haven't mentioned, and one thing that a lot of people don't actually realize in casual play, is you can actually use L1 and R1 to influence the angle of Cloud. I believe it's a 15-degree angle that it tilts you in left or right based on if you have L1 or R1. And that's all perspective-based. It's not, like, screen-based. It's left or right from whichever way Cloud is facing. And I actually use that quite a bit to get tighter angles and specific movement that I need. It's also going to be very crucial in setting up the manipulation for the next boss fight, which I will, I'll bring it up, or I'll bring it up again when we're a little bit closer to it. See, like right here, I'm tapping R1 because it allows me to have an easier time with the lines here. Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, believe it or not, going out of your way to get all of the items for the dress does actually save time over, you know, beelining it to the mansion and then not getting picked. Very important to grab that ether there because it sells for quite a bit. And, we're definitely going to need to make up all of the money we can in order to buy the grenades we need to finish out this Midgar Escape. Now, missing that 1,500 from Barrett, it does play a huge role in this, man. It does play a huge role. And you'll see, I will probably run out of grenades in the last fight, actually, and have to resort on some last-ditch limit breaks in order to prolong the fight, or I guess prolong my turns to get the final kill so that Motorball doesn't get a final attack that will kill me. So yeah, this route can actually be pretty stressful. I mean, the normal 80% no slots route is actually already stressful because of money. And that's also another reason why I need to get this back attack braver. Because this back attack braver on the next boss will do the equivalent of like 4 grenades worth of damage. It's like either 3 or 4 grenades worth of damage. So, man, it is pretty crucial. Alrighty, and surprise, surprise, we are most likely going to get picked. Alright, so I'm going to grab an item behind the bed. Purely just for selling. So here we just got, you know, the normal interrogation here. And again, another section where you can really lose some time if you're not matching dialogue properly. One thing that I've noticed is, like, if you have an instance where you have a single dialogue window open, but multiple lines will come through that single window, that is where you will save, like, the most time with fast mashing. Maybe not so much every time the game has to bring up a brand new window. But you can really save some times when the windows are consistent. Alright, so one cutscene one very short cutscene of the Shinra Tower, and then we've got our manipulation for the next boss fight. And I'm really hoping this is a preemptive encounter. You know, like I said, because of step fractions, it is very well possible that we are just slightly out of the manipulation range, which I can deal with. I can very much deal with, but it'd be very nice to get it in the showcase. So yeah, like in the next screen, you're gonna see me bonk to the right and then bonk to the left, and then I'm gonna hold R1 and then do some left and right movement before I talk to Tifa. And this is all intentional to set up the next boss fight to be a preemptive encounter. Alright, talk, and then up. Walk. Alright, that should be good. It should be good, but maybe not, because I actually had to redo the guard skip in Sector 7. Because that did rotate, you know, my fractions a little bit, so. And we're good! Thank you! Thank you! So yeah, again, holding up in circle will allow us to just insta-Q the nades. And then holding down in circle after doing that allows me to insta-Q the Braver. Yeah, 510. That is a awesome damage roll, man. That is a awesome damage roll. So yeah, since we skipped, you know, the renames for Tifa and Aerith, it just gives them the default names of whatever is in the code for them. Alright, this one should kill. This kills. Yeah. Alright, very nice. And again, one aspect of the step manipulation that I didn't really make clear is, you know, with these encounters, I know exactly what the enemies are and what the formation is going to be. So I can tell you I'm going to have the next fight against the turtle enemies, and it's going to be a preemptive encounter as well that I can get an instant quick escape from. I think these are called, like, Shangans or Sangans. I'm going to walk 6 steps. Skipping the steel materia because I can't even equip it anyways. All right, onwards to the train graveyard. This area, you know, when you're first learning the movement of this game and the step manipulation, holy crap, will this area kill your runs. This area will kill your runs. Thanks, save point. And again, I'm going to be picking up some items here that is necessary for selling so that I can get enough grenades to finish out the Midgar Escape. Alright, so I'm using L1 here to get a specific angle on Cloud. And I'm actually going to be using R1 right here. And I'm going to try to menu skip an encounter here as well. All at the same time. Look at how many buttons I'm pressing. And I missed it. But that's okay. You know, these frame perfect skips are very hard, especially later in the game. You know, because since we don't force the prior encounter at a very specific spot, I don't know exactly where this encounter is going to be, and I sort of have to guess. But taking that encounter doesn't waste too much time. You can actually waste more time a lot of times by repeatedly going for the menu buffers. And one thing I'm going to do here, it's referred to as the double train strat. Because I'm going slightly out of my way to get a high potion here to sell, I'm going to re-enter and exit this train here, and this is actually going to save me a few steps for my step manipulation. I don't normally do this in no slots runs because it is slower, but it's kind of crucial in this route because I do have the chance of getting a fight against a burglar, which could steal things that I don't want them to steal. So I'm just making sure that I don't get that encounter. Oh my god. See, that's fine because I double trained. Yeah, that little movement mishap is actually fine because I double trained, but... Yeah, FF7 is a game where, like, all of that stuff matters. If you take one corner wrong and you waste, like, 2 steps, that could be life or death for the run. So... And here we are, the Sector 7 pillar in under 35 minutes. Bottom. Ba, 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 ba. Alright, so you're gonna be climbing the stairs here. You know, it's very imperative that you take these corners as tight as possible to minimize the amount of steps that you're taking. You know, some of these angles can be pretty blind as to which, like, when you can go the direction. But there is actually a chance that I will get the burglar fight. But I think we can be okay. And Cloud is actually at a really good spot for his limit break. Gonna be hoping to cast a limit break or two on Reno here to save some nades. Alright, we're gonna be taking a gamble here with our starting ATBs. We're gonna hope that we get as many first turn grenades as possible before Reno gets his first pyramid move in. Alright, here we go. Again, I'm holding up in circles so that I can instantly buffer these grenades in. I don't think I'm gonna get a first turn. Ah, that sucks. That's alright, though. So I'm actually gonna invert the turn orders here so I can, buffer a turn with Cloud. So you notice I get 3 turns in before Reno's, turn that he gets. Wow, that was a crit. That was actually a crit. Alright, cool. Cool, we're saving an additional nade. Wow. Wow, that was great. That was great. You know, pretty much we just got some dialogue mashing until the next movement section. Yeah, this would be a good time for donations. And also, in the speedrun, this is the best time for a bathroom break in Midgar. It's most certainly the best time for a bathroom break in Midgar. Which, you know, if you guys don't mind, I'm actually gonna take my leave for just a second. I'll leave you guys to the awesome cutscene. And, yeah, hope you guys enjoy it. Alrighty, guys, we are back. So yeah, Sector 7 has been destroyed, unfortunately. But we got a speed run to do, so we're only going to sit here for a little bit, and then we're going to go. So yeah, these next movement screens coming up are actually another set of tough screens for newcomers to this game trying to learn step manipulation. I like to call them like the construction zone screens. They can be pretty difficult, and also the enemies there, their moves kind of take a while. So if you don't get quick escapes, they are kind of punishing encounters to take a turn on. Luckily, this first encounter that we get into is going to be a side attack, so we can instantly escape from it. But on our return trip, we're going to get an encounter with the house, actually, with another house. If we don't take the burglar encounter, we'll get the house encounter. But yeah, that house encounter can actually waste your time with some long turns. It's gonna be a fight against the house. A side attack. Now, you notice whenever we have a preemptive encounter or a side attack encounter, our ATBs are automatically filled all the way. Yeah, this movement here is pretty tricky. It's very easy to accidentally go the wrong way for even a step or two. Alright, gonna take a little detour here, not to grab that cover materia. Again, remember, we cannot equip any materia for this run, because we don't even have the materia menu. Just gonna grab that ether for selling for some more grenades. Get a little history lesson here about Amira's husband, Aerith's mother, and how they all came to know each other. And it's one thing I've noticed with this next dialogue coming up. There's actually not like a window that shows up for the text box. And for some reason, it feels like you can page through the dialogue faster as a result. I'm actually not entirely sure if it's any faster than traditional dialogue matching, but it seems faster for some reason if you commit to it. But you guys will see that in about 5 seconds from now, or 10 seconds. It's gonna be right here. See, it's like it's so fast, man. since I'm just smashing dialogue here, I want to say thanks again to everybody, you know, that's hanging out right now during my GDQX submission. Apologize for not doing a whole lot of chat interaction while I'm recording this, but again, for those of you just joining us, I am recording a submission for the TwitchCon Games Done Quick event that is happening, and I would like to submit FF7 Midgar Escape so that maybe we can get a full game run in at the January Games Done Quick event. And yeah, I really think Midgar Escape would be a nice category to show. You know, especially since because the FF7 Remake is Midgar, you know? It only makes sense. All right, so normally I would go straight to the door here, but actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up here, get these items just so I can sell them. So again, I'm gonna need all of the grenades that I can possibly get for the end of the game, and then also, I need 300 gil to buy batteries in the wall market section. Oh yeah, guys, and don't forget, if you want to cheer bits, if you use the bleed purple emote, I believe Twitch will actually add 10% extra bits to your cheer. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, so I'm gonna be doing some shopping here. All right. At a pretty good grenade count. All right, so this is where I'll get the burglar fight. Oh, we missed it. Okay, perfect. Perfect, dude. Okay. All right, decent starting ATB. Oh, I went for the change, but, you know, the house got the turn first. That's okay. Yeah, very awesome that we didn't get the burglar fight, because if he happens to steal some gil, that is actually so inconvenient, I would cry. It's not. I just have to sell some grenades and then adjust some strategies, but, you know, you hate to see it. Or, you know, if he just steals one grenade, I guess that's not the worst thing in the world. All right, so one thing you can't forget is to buy the batteries here. Definitely don't want to waste a minute taking the trip back here to realize that we've forgotten. You can squeeze in between the kids like that. Unfortunately, you can't make it past the first one, but save a little bit of time there. I absolutely can't wait for this part in the remake. I have no idea how they're gonna handle like all the platforming and stuff that you can do here with all the wreckage. But yo, go, G-Nick. Thank you so much for the 55 bits. And then we got Acid. Acid Brain with the 500. Thank you guys so much. I also really appreciate all the follows going in. Alright, so you just need to time that to the audio. Just gotta press circle at the right time. Now, it is unfortunate when you, you know, if you take a fall there. It only wastes a little bit of time, though. Alrighty. Shinra Tower time. So, couple things we could do here, in theory. You know, you can take the stairs. Thing about the well, let me just say, going through the front and the elevator does have the potential to save the most time if you get good RNG on which fights you get in the elevator. But here's the thing, with our current route, with 1, the step manipulation, and then 2, or I guess the step manipulation part of it affects the any % no slots route more than this route. But a huge thing with this one is the grenades, man. We are so deprived for grenades already that we literally cannot afford to go for it. So we're gonna take the stairs, and luckily this also gives us an elixir, which this could come into play. Yeah, this could really come into play in the Rufus fight if I happen to get crit. So another instance of, well, step count is not live here in the sense of this isn't a hostile field, but you know, any sort of bonk like that, hitting the railing, that's time lost, so want to try to cut it as close as possible, but not wasting any time. You know, a thing with this is like, you know, you gotta know where the elixir is if you're gonna grab it, because it's so easy to just like space out and then miss it because you're not paying attention. A strategy you can do here is actually hold L1, and it helps you hug the inside corner a little bit easier. I opt to not do it though, because actually with L1, I do bear the chance of walking backwards sometimes. So, I most certainly just don't want to walk backwards. And if the next screen starts off with the dialog box that says, "Are we there yet?" then you'll know we are on the elixir screen. Are we there yet? Not yet. Nice little elixir there. Alright, so only a couple more screens left at the stairs. And actually, this next fight coming up here is going to be the first example of a fight that we approach with ATB wait. So I didn't really touch on the ATB commands. In the very first menu of the game, I changed the ATB to active, which pretty much controls the time of the game to always be flowing. If you keep it on recommended, the time will freeze briefly during certain turn animations. And we just want to be able to get escapes whenever we possibly can. But But for this next fight, we're actually going to be changing it to ATB wait, which will either it'll freeze time and place during certain turn animations, but also it freezes time and place whenever we have a menu selected. So as a result, we are going to be controlling the way in which we target the enemies in the next fight so that we can minimize the turns that the enemies get and maximize our own. This is the last screen of the stairs. And also in this next menu, you're going to see me put people in the back row. And what this does is it actually makes them take 50% less damage, but the physical attacks they deal will do less damage. Luckily for us, limit breaks will bypass that, and we use grenades, so the damage is unaffected. There we go. I'm going to change it to ATB wait and then back row some characters. Alright, so this fight, we're going to attack 3 different enemies. That's because whenever they lose their armor, it will actually reset their ATB time to 0. So if I can chain these moves properly, once I break their armor, nobody's going to get any extra turns. So if I play this right and my characters have proper speed stats, the enemy should not get any turns in for the remainder of the fight. And Barrett's a little slow, but it's okay. We did cancel a couple turns there. Alrighty, guys, so this next thing I'm gonna do here is actually extremely risky. You have to do a mini game here where we dodge the line of sight of certain guards. But what I do is I go for a very, very particular set of cycle skips. And 2 sections of this are actually extremely scary for me. Being the first movement with Cloud and then the first movement with Tifa. So that is particular, very particular. And then right here, I'm going to use a visual cue for the guards on the right as to when to move Tifa. And there we skipped. Okay. All right. Looking like we're almost in the clear, guys. So yeah, every time in a run, this is so nerve-wracking. Because you notice both guards don't start moving at the same time. So you'll see one guard move, and then you'll get caught in the line of sight of the other guard. And so on the next floor is the bookcase room, which normally you need to do some puzzle solving to figure out what the password is going to be. And the password could be one of 4 things. It's either best, bomb, Mako, or king. And you can use your in-game timer to judge what it's gonna be, but you need a little you need like an Excel document open, and you got to plug it in, which I actually don't have access to that right now. So that one bookcase that I checked is also consistent with the password, and since the first word of that book was results, I knew that the password was king. And we don't need the elemental materia in this run. It's really just to save time, or to make it consistent so I'm not messing up in menus. Alright, so step count is live on this screen. As opposed to a lot of the other screens in the Shinra Tower, this screen actually does have encounters. So I need to be very particular with my movement. Nice, getting that instant change with Barret allowed me to buffer that escape. So if I place the first Midgar part from that exact box that I grabbed in this first slot, It allows me to actually go as I please to any box in any order. If you do it any other way, this can get pretty annoying. And, you know, in combination with step routing and stuff, and like where you need to, or actually, I guess you're still taking the same amount of steps regardless, but not if you go to a box that is locked. So, yeah, we always do this the same way. All right, this will be against 3 eels. Hopefully we can get out of this one fast. All right, nice one turn. That was a nice one turn. All right, so here we're just gonna take a little detour and go to the bathroom. We can eavesdrop on a conversation. Bop, bop. Alrighty. Alright, just gonna continue following Hojo here, so we can hopefully find Aerith. Or Aerith, I should say. Now, these NPCs can get in your way. Alright, luckily, the girl didn't turn up. And here we get a glimpse of the, yeah, the third and only other character that we can rename outside of Cloud and Barrett in this route. Because, yeah, we skipped the renames for Tifa and Aerith. So yeah, incentives for renames are just going to be Cloud, Barrett, and Red 13. And I'll probably do an incentive to show off the Zulum skip. Show off the Zulum skip and the cutscene skip afterwards. Alright, so if you may have noticed, after I did the last Grunts fight where we switched to ATB wait, I did not actually switch to ATB active. And this is just because I needed to switch to ATB wait for this fight, and I didn't want to have to do 2 menus based around 2 random encounters that I could quick escape off regardless. So yes, we are on ATB wait for this next boss fight, and we're going to do another aspect of ATB wait manipulation that allows us to maximize our time and minimize the amount of time that the opponent is gaining. And I'll be able to explain this a little bit more when I have the characters in front of me. But pretty much what we're going to do is we're going to mass queue our actions. So queue the actions of 2 characters and then hold time in place with the 3rd character. And then while we're holding time in place with the 3rd character, we wait for the initial 2 characters to do their turn animations. And then we put through the 3rd character's animation. And this allows characters 1 and 2 to be gaining time at the same time. And then all throughout the animations of characters 1 and 2 throwing their stuff, the enemies are not gaining time. So, doing all sorts of manipulation here to try to minimize the amount of time the enemy's getting while maximizing how many characters are gaining time at any given moment for myself. And, yeah. Alright, so in the no slots route, I normally have Barrett take Aerith. But you know, since Barrett's one of the characters that we can rename, I'm gonna actually have him in the fight for this fight so that we can get a little bit more rename action. Very nice open here. Very nice 3 first turns. Okay, I don't know if I've ever had that. Alright, so hoping for a 3 poison. It's unfortunate the red 13 missed here. We actually want all characters to get poisoned here because then if a character is not poisoned, the boss fight here can do that Shady Breath move again. And that move kind of takes forever. Hoping to maybe get a limit break on Cloud or Barrett here, but it's not looking like I'm going to be able to. Yep. Alright, that's fine. And it's actually not that bad that I didn't start the splits properly, because these splits are actually based on the old Midgar Escape route before the guard skip was found. Yeah, switching to ATB active and then back rowing red. Yeah, we were told to meet back with our party in this elevator here, but unfortunately, it wasn't our party in the elevator. It was actually the suits here. No, the Turks. So, now we're under arrest and we're going to jail. Happens. Someone's saying I should carry on this run after the Midgar Escape is done. I literally don't have a Materia menu. Yeah, so for those of you just joining us, doing a Midgar Escape route, You have the ability to do the guard skip in Sector 7 before going into 7th Heaven, where you get paid by Barret, you rename Tifa, and you get the Materia menu. Yeah, we skipped all of that. So we have to account for all of our money loss, as well as not having a Materia menu. Which, that will come into play very shortly, because we're going to have the option to remove all Materia off of Cloud and Tifa. I do not want to do that. I want to make sure to pick the second option. And this is because, you know, Cloud has Bolt. Cloud has had Bolt equipped since the beginning of the game. And I need that for the final boss of Midgar. I most certainly need Bolt for the final boss of Midgar. So if I accidentally remove it, there is no way to put it back on. Alright, so here, you know, you can have conversations with all the cellmates here, but you actually only need to talk to Aerith. Then you can go to sleep. I like how Aerith and Tifa, they just have 1 pixel for like an eye. There's like 1 pixel. I'm just now noticing that. Or I guess that's hair? Maybe? And so luckily this next fight should be a preemptive encounter and we'll get a quick escape off of it. And what do you know? It's like we played the game before. Wait, Aerith has 2 different colored eyes here? Okay, not anymore. That was weird. So we got a nice little speech here, some nice dialogue mashing. And then our party splits up, and there we have the crucial menu option where I cannot remove Materia off of Cloud and Tifa. Because I swear if I do that, it's... Well, actually, I don't know if it's run over. We'll see if it's run over. Actually, no, we won't see because I'm going to do it right. Okay. All right, this is where I need to be aware. This is where I need to be aware. Because since I do not have a Materia menu, we need to keep Materia equipped on Cloud and Tifa. Leave as is. There we go. We have saved the run. All right, last random, quote-unquote, random encounter of the run right here. Now just making sure Red has a limit break. That's cool. All right. Starting the fight here with Heli Gunner and 100 Gunner. Now we're going to pretty much grenade it to death. Second phase is going to have some optimizations with limit breaks in order to cut some specific turns. But only if the boss plays nice. We got to bet that nobody gets put to sleep. So hopefully nobody gets put to sleep here. Apparently gunshots can put you to sleep. This could be like a trank sort of thing, but come on. And something to note about the throwing animations here, Aerith actually has a slightly slower throwing animation. So if I can set up my turns at the end of the fight to like mitigate throwing with her if possible, it will be a little bit of time save. All right, so I want to get a limit break in here so that I can skip one of his turns. All right, this will be good if somebody else gets a turn here. All right, nice. So this should skip his final firing line, or it's like a sea cannon. All right, so I'm gonna hold off on, you know, doing this throw animation with Eris. Yeah, not gonna throw it with Eris because it's actually faster to just wait and throw it with Red. And it's dead. All right, this boss can troll me so hard. Which actually, you know, I did get the tranquilizer drop from the guards fight. I think in the case of a marathon run, I might tranquilizer Cloud here. But also, it might make it so he has less of a chance of getting a limit break on Motorball, which I might need. All right, so we're hoping for a 140 damage roll here on Dark Nation. Dark Nation has 140 health. All right, good. Okay. This is actually fine because I should get a limit break in Motorball regardless. Wow! I'm a god? I'm a god? Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna back row Cloud here. All right, time for the ending sequence, guys. The ending sequence. All we got is the motorcycle chase and then motorball and one final skip to end the run. That's right, we're still not done with the skips. This run actually ends with a skip. Yeah, yeah. Hey, I've had below 132 before. Alright, so here with the motorcycles, we're going to be hoping that we can get the red bikes. It doesn't actually change anything in terms of speed, but you'll see that the motorcycles come here and try to do damage to all the actors on screen. But if we can get the red bikes are programmed to avoid our sword slashes. So if we can get 3 red bikes, we can actually just keep them behind us if we constantly slash. Game is not playing nice. Game is definitely not playing nice. And you know, the damage you take here does carry into the next fight. Alright, so we got 2 red bikes. Come on, game. Come on, game. Alright, there we go. And Laser, that's within a no slots run. Not like Midgar Escape, which Midgar Escape isn't even like a track category. Well, see, the thing is, Midgar Escape is a category. All you gotta do is do it, and leaderboards don't matter. So, just do it. Alrighty, final boss of Midgar. Final boss of Midgar. Alright, so I'm gonna open up with grenades with Tifa and Barret and then bolt with Cloud. The boss for that move that he just did has a chance of either doing 1 or 2 attacks on the same character. We're gonna have the same chance of that attack happening again, so hopefully we can get 2 singles. He'll always target the character with the most health. And we get a double. Okay. Alright. Alright, so we did get the double. So I need to pay proper attention to my grenade count here. We have 4 in the inventory now. And then I'm gonna stop my turns here at a very specific time. So, after this Tifa, I'm gonna hold off. Alright, so I'm out of grenades currently. So I'm gonna chain. I'm chaining all of my limit breaks together here to prolong the boss getting a turn. And hopefully... Oh, I'm not stopping a timer. Hopefully we can kill the boss within these turns. Come on, Cloud. Come on, Cloud. Yes, okay. So that right there is why it is so crucial to know what your grenade count is so that you can, you know, so you can kill the boss there before it gets a final turn on you. And now we have one final thing left in the run. Just one final thing, which is we gotta do a skip here. You know, normally there's a conversation about who the leader's gonna be, and then you need to decide the party. But we're gonna get 2 dialogue boxes at the same time by trying to talk to Barrett and then also zoning out at the same time. Having these overlapping conversations will actually allow me to, it will actually allow me to retain movement and just leave the area without proceeding the conversations. So I gotta focus on this. And time stops when we hit the loading zone. Got it? Time. Man, nice 128.30. It's pretty cool. Honestly, not bad. Really not bad. And one thing that I can showcase, just as a funny glitch here, you know, since we skipped the events of that, a couple things are going to happen. If I zone back into Midgar, you're going to see Cloud on the ground where he was. But it's going to try to play the cutscene that it had before. And based around the way the game tells Cloud where he needs to be, you'll see the game is going to glitch here. So watch this. So Cloud's like over there, and now he's gonna go to the chain. He's flying! He's flying! Oh, and I can't get the setup that I normally do. Oh, jeez. Okay, we got it. Alright, so that's a little fun thing that you can do with this. And I guess one final thing I'll show is I'm probably gonna do a incentive for the Zolom skip if that gets met. So that's another flashy thing that we can do really quickly upon finishing a run. And we also have the entire run for people that donate into the incentive, so that's pretty good. Hey, getting a nice preemptive encounter here. Alright, so normally here, you know, to cross the marsh with the Zolom, the giant snake, the game wants you to catch a chocobo. And then ride the chocobo across the marsh. If I don't get a random encounter, so I'm gonna wait for the Zolom to get in a specific spot. Okay. That was really ballsy. I'm sorry. I tried to go for such a ballsy one. I like to go for some really risky strats here. You can sort of control his movement depending on how you control the camera. So there he is. We're bringing him over here. We're going to deflect him off the mountain. And then we're going to get him stuck in this crevice, actually. And based on how I control the camera, it controls where he moves. So we're good. And then normally there's a cutscene here when you cross into this zone. But what I can do is... And actually, I'm going to do this for like a minute. You can repeatedly menu buffer. Where am I? Yeah, you can repeatedly menu buffer. And then you're on the other side of the trigger. You don't get the cutscene here. And you can just go right into the Mithril Mines. So, alrighty, I guess that wraps up my submission for Midgar Escape for GDQX. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Really appreciate everybody, you know, that's taking the time to watch. And, yeah, hope you guys consider it for GDQX and any percent no slots for, AGDQ. Now, I would love to show the Midgar Escape here at GDQX and then show the full game run at the next Awesome Games Done Quick. But yeah, really appreciate everybody that's watching right now. Thank you so much for GDQ staff for considering Final Fantasy VII. And I will see you guys at GDQX regardless and AGDQ. So, alright. Peace out, guys.